Hello, what's up, everybody? It is me. I am back, and it is a rainy day here in Chattanooga, Tennessee. I'm still gonna walk, I don't care what, but I'm giving it just a second to ease off if it's going to. But curly hair is super frizzy when it rains, so pardon the Q-tip on my head. It'll be all wet in a minute, I'm sure, but I have an umbrella, so. Anyway, I hope everybody's doing well. I'm doing good. I wanted to get on here and give a message about, excuse me, documentation. If you're going through something like what I'm going through, it is very important to document everything. Now, I don't record every single conversation that I have with someone, but if it pertains to what I'm going through, whether it be court or custody or anything where I need to cover myself, and someone may try and spin it and push their narrative or flat out lie on you, you want to have that backup. You want to have a trail back to the actual conversation and what really happened, or just to be able to refer back to things, times, places, because the truth, even if you're saying it without documentation, the truth never changes, right? If someone is lying, they can't remember their lie specifically, so their story will keep changing. But your story, if you're telling the truth, will stay the same. It will never change, because that is actually what happened. But to back that up, you will have your notes, your videos, your audio recordings. You will have these things so that you could easily whip them out in 2 seconds, have it backed up even, so that if something disappears, you have a second copy. Always document. Of course, I keep journals like I tell you guys to keep. I also have a notebook of everything that went on at my uncle's house. I have a few videos. I have recordings of conversations with people. Heck, I recorded my entire psychological evaluation in case anybody decided to get greasy there. He didn't, and that's great. I'm very proud that he decided to be a stand-up guy, and he was true to the situation and to, for the best interest of the child, right? He wasn't just trying to make me look bad or fit the narrative that the state was pushing, or whoever made the anonymous complaint against me was pushing. He did the right thing. DHS actually said that everything went well, so they did the right thing, even though they weren't always so easy on me. Kept saying that I had lost my job over and over, but they were receiving their information from my enemies, so they didn't know what to believe until I would send them the pay stubs and prove it. But someone tried to tell them that and get in their ears several times, but I had the proof, right? I had the documentation, so their lies didn't stand up. It didn't stick, right? So I have recorded every phone call that I've had with my son. We get Saturday phone calls, and even though CPS is not involved anymore, his father doesn't want to be the one to call my phone, and he doesn't live with his mom or next door to his mom anymore, so he has his sister do three-way calls with me and my son so she can sit there and listen. Now, she was his foster mom for a little while there was a protective order against his dad, and someone had made also the complaint against me. So she would sit there and listen, and that was ordered by DHS, so fine. But now that they're not involved anymore, she still does it. And while we have time before the next court hearing next week, I filed something, his lawyer filed something. Right now, there is nothing on record legally saying that I don't have the custody like the divorce decree said. But since DHS released him, his father, I guess, thinks that he has sole custody, but he doesn't. And during my Saturday phone call, which I'm glad that they called and gave it to me, They won't give me visitation in between now and court, which is fine. I want to do it the right way. I want to have it all on record. I want to have it in writing so that it can't be disputed, and people can't power trip and try to play God, because that's what they've tried to do from the very beginning. Had my phone call yesterday. She still did the 3-way call. I told my son towards the end of the call that I hope to see him soon, and that I was trying to get this all over and done with, because it's been a really long time. And she spoke up twice during the conversation. Once to correct him about where his dad had moved to. Why, I don't know, just to insert herself. And second, she said, we're not going to talk to him about that. And if you talk to him about that, then I'm going to hang up the phone. And she did hang up the phone. But I told her, CPS is not involved anymore. I didn't say his dad doesn't have sole custody, which is true. They did not divert to dad at juvenile court. She was there. She's there every single time because she wants to be put up on the stand. She wants to be called on so that she can lie again, just like she did in circuit court. And she very much has perjured herself. So I plan to prove that, by the way. So I have documentation of all of these things to prove that she perjured herself. My son testifying in court, like I've asked for him to do, will prove that she's perjured herself. So I asked her, are you sure you want to do this? Do you know what this means for you? And she said, yes, she chose to do it anyway. So let them, right? I told her that CPS is not involved anymore. I'm not under any kind of gag. She's still hung up anyway. I have had conversations like that. I didn't go into any details. I didn't say anything wrong to my son. He has asked me during DHS meetings that were supervised by his caseworker. He's asked me, are you ever going to get me back? When are you going to get me back? Like, what the process is, where we stand with it. I answered him not in detail, but I said, yes, Mom's trying. She's never going to stop trying. I have to do this first, or we have court again on this date. I've said all of that in front of the DHS worker, and never has there been a problem. Never did she say, y'all stop talking about this, or you can't talk about that. But his aunt, who has no custody, she's not his foster mom anymore. She's not in any kind of custody papers. She has no authority whatsoever when it comes to my child, but she wants to insert herself and act like she has control over me speaking to my child because his father lets her. He's 40 years old, by the way, and he still has his mom and sister. He has two. One has fallen by the wayside. She's not there fiercely defending him anymore for some reason. So he's lost support since all of this has started, but there's still his mom, who doesn't show her face. She doesn't insert herself, but the one sister said she's going to what's that? There's all kinds of birds over here, guys. It's really cool. Anyway, she said that she's basically gonna go to war for him. So that's what she's trying to do. And so we're gonna have to get the court guys to tell her that she has no authority and that she can't tell me what I can and can't say to my son. That will be decided by the court as well. And as it stands right now, until we go to court, I still have custody just like I did before, and so does he, but just how it was from the divorce. Not full custody, not protective custody, not state's custody. None of that exists right now. But this is where I'm trying to say, record things, document. I recorded the whole phone conversation, right? I have that so that I can use that. She will not be able to say she said this and that and this and that, because I have exactly what happened, you know? Also, going forward with things like this, you guys need to be very vigilant. Don't come off your throne. Don't give them what they want. Don't argue with them. I simply stated what I did, the fact of the matter. I did not argue with her. I'm not going to argue with her. I'm not coming down to her level. You stay on your throne. Don't let them have a reaction out of you. the way that they want, so that they can say, see, this is how I told you she was. Do you see? She did this, she did that, she showed her tail. No, I didn't. I didn't. And I'm not going to, because I'm going to let them. You let them. Even if it makes you mad, even if you're still fighting with that shadow side of yourself and you haven't completely done all of your shadow work, and you feel that old you, that that version of you that used to fight about everything, or goodness, I'm having trouble getting this out, but it's going to come out. Before you have completely stepped into your Empress or Emperor energy, and you still have urges to go back to the old way of being, you have to take a time out. You have to pray about it, meditate on it, do whatever you need to do to release it and give it up to God. Surrender that to God. I immediately prayed for her. I'm still praying for you, because I know you're going to watch this. Somebody's going to tell you you're going to watch it. So, hi, it's your turn. It's your time to shine. I want you guys to do not give them what they want. Do not respond to them. Do not come down to that level of negative, low vibrating energy with them. You let them, right? For one, God sees everything. God is in total control. The people that try to play God and try to have control will be put in their place by God, right? The vengeance is not ours, right? It belongs to Him. You pray about it, you give it up, you let God handle it for you, right? You need to defend yourself, though. So have this documentation ready to go whenever and wherever you need to use it. I think there's only 2 phone calls that I haven't recorded by my son. Typically, I can tell who he's with when he calls, obviously by the phone number that shows up. But if he is with his grandmother, he's more free to talk. He's more free. If his dad is around, his dad has made fun of him, has made him feel uncomfortable about showing his love and his carefree nature being with me. He has told me this. This is not something that I am gathering or I'm fabricating. This is something that my son has told me, and he said it in front of the DHS worker as well. So she can vouch for how he has told me, I can't hug you in front of my dad. If my dad comes to pick me up, can we say goodbye inside before we get outside, so that he doesn't see me, because then I'm going to have to listen to that for the rest of the day. She heard him say that. Actually, he repeated it for her clearly, in case she missed that part of our conversation with each other. So this is no secret that they have done this. I'm the one that has been monitored, but they needed to be monitored too. He went back to his dad at 100% capacity when the allegations against me had not been cleared yet, and the restraining order, protective order, was released on his dad. His dad had never been at 100% capacity, and had it not been for his mom and his sister, he wouldn't have known what to do, guys, because he's never been a full-time dad. He's never had him 100% of the time, ever. So before all of this happened, I had him about 80% of the time. The times that he was supposed to go to his dad, he told me to tell his dad that he couldn't go, he was sick, or he'd rather stay with me. And his dad most of the time would not argue that, and he would say, yes, that's fine. So my point is, he went back to him being unmonitored. It's going to be such a sad day when some of these people in authority realize that they sent him back to a situation that he could easily tell them, if he was asked by them, the ones that made the ultimate decisions, he would tell them that I did not coach him in any way, that he spoke up to me. He didn't feel comfortable saying fully everything that happened abuse-wise to these people. He said the bare minimum, and then they twisted that into, well, I think he was coached, when in fact he wasn't coached. He just didn't feel comfortable discussing all of the nitty-gritty details, and I don't blame him. It was super uncomfortable for him to come out with it in the first place. He didn't do it until CPS got involved, and then he got scared. Otherwise, he would probably still be holding these secrets. So It took a lot of courage and bravery for him to speak up, and he didn't feel like telling all of the nitty-gritty details to the state officials, to the in his forensic interview, right? Which the cop didn't even show up to. Shout out to Saudi Daisy Police Department for saying they had a cold and they couldn't come, so he had to get a written report of it. He didn't even watch the video. That's how many steps have been missed in this. I wasn't gonna force him to get really detailed with them, although he did tell them some details that he didn't even tell me, that I didn't even know about until they said it in court. And I was like, oh my gosh. And you guys still didn't believe him? He told you this. I never reported that. That came straight from him, but you're saying that I coached him when I didn't even know that part of the story. But they still wouldn't believe him. So, you know, I don't know how many kids out there have been returned to abusive parents because they thought that reunification was most important, regardless of whether they had been abused, or they just flat out said that they didn't believe the kid, probably because of what was being said about the other parent, and they discredited them, much like they tried to discredit me. But thank goodness we're out of juvenile court. I have hours and hours. I recorded everything that happened at CPS today that they took him from me. I have recorded all but 2 phone calls. I have the complete notebook of everything that happened while I lived with my uncles. Names, times, dates, exact recount of what happened, especially when he told me that he could get me taken out of there in handcuffs at any time when I had done nothing wrong. Things like that. Document everything. That's my one piece of advice for you, because when they can't lie and you can back them in a corner with this stuff, and they have to believe you regardless of the slander and the mud that have been thrown, because they don't know you, right? So a lot of times, especially in small towns like this, they will, just the good old boy system is alive and well, right? You scratch my back, I'll scratch yours. If you know this person, then they can get in touch with that person. You know, it's like 2 degrees separation around here. Everybody knows everybody. So there's always someone that can do you a favor. And if you don't know somebody, you can find somebody that knows somebody. It's that easy. So you have to protect yourself. You have to protect yourself and your child if a child is involved, no matter what situation you're going through, whether it be like mine or any other court situation or any other sticky situation that you find yourself in. Document everything with audio, video, and write it down, and have backup, guys, because once you are able to prove that you're not the one lying and that things didn't happen the way that other people said that they happened, they will have no other choice, because the proof is in the pudding, right? You are showing them their true character. You are showing them what really happened. You are showing them why your story doesn't ever change and theirs does. Because they're lying. Because they're fabricating. Because they're creating a narrative that works for them. It's self-serving. And once you can prove that, they have nowhere else to go with it. It's impossible to choose their side when you have proof that they're lying. So I encourage everyone, no matter how tedious it may seem, it will come in handy in the end. And your enemies, my enemies, when you start to come up out of what they tried to put you in, they are going to act out of desperation. You know, the cops weren't able to get me arrested like they want. The CPS petition has been dropped by the state. These are not things that they thought would happen. They have tried their hardest and put all of their energy into that. So when they have nothing else to fall on but acting out of anger and frustration that these things didn't work, and you are still free, you're working towards getting your child back, whatever your situation may be, when you start to come up out of it, and their efforts, all of that time and energy and effort, that draining process that they went through to make you look bad when they could have been working on themselves that whole time and not worried about you at all. When all of that doesn't work, they're going to have to start, they're going to act out. They're going to be mean. I fully expected this, right? It's so typical of the people that I'm dealing with to start acting out and being mad, because look how much they put into that didn't work. They're starting to see your success come to fruition, and it makes them so mad that they can't help but to ooze the disdain and let it show. And so when that happens, you don't give them what they want, but you document everything that they said and did, okay? That's what I want to leave you with today. I hope everybody has a wonderful day and a wonderful week. We are almost to Money Making Monday, and I love you. God loves you. You're never, ever alone, guys. Bye.